Well, Zach, bad news for future Toyota buyers. The cost of Toyotas is going up.
Toyota profits are plunging, down 25%, $2 billion in extra expenses in their most recent quarter. And Dad, they're moving towards dynamic pricing, which is a super interesting concept for everyone except for us consumers. What the hell is going on over at Toyota, Dad? And why are they in such trouble compared to, Ram? Ram's got trucks everywhere. What's going on at Toyota?
Well, two things can be true at one time. One, Toyota's income, Toyota's profits are declining rapidly. And two, the price of Toyota vehicles is going to go up. Toyota, from July, August, and September, in that quarter, they lost $2 billion worldwide. And the reason for the $2 billion loss was the cost of goods that they need and the cost of raw materials that they need has gone up faster than they had anticipated. That has led to an actual operating loss in North America for Toyota and an operating loss in Europe for Toyota. So they're trying to figure out exactly how much they can raise the price of new Toyotas before people just start saying, that's it, we're done, we can't afford a Toyota anymore. So if you're someone looking at a Toyota, you're probably going to find it cheaper today than you will, 2 or 3 months from now.
Pops, the quote from Masahiro Yamamoto, the chief officer of accounting at Toyota, says, every year we have been changing prices once or twice a year, and by increasing the frequency of pricing changes, we would like to reflect those higher costs. Pops, you use Uber or Lyft occasionally to get rides, right?
Occasionally, yes.
You're aware of the concept, right? The price changes depending on demand of rides and supply of drivers, yeah?
I've heard that rumor, yes.
Are we moving towards a world where that Toyota Camry or that Toyota Corolla or that Toyota RAV4 Prime, the one that's in great demand, not only will the dealer potentially, jack up the price because demand's high and supply is short, it sounds like the OEM is saying, we're going to maybe have a variable manufacturer suggested retail price based on how expensive our inputs are, how expensive the cost is to produce the vehicle. This is wild. This is let's be very clear. This is wild if that's the direction we're going.
Well, I think the real direction they're going is perhaps they will guarantee pricing for 30 or 60 days at a time, so that they'll set the new MSRP. And I'm just going to pick an arbitrary date because we don't know this yet for a fact.
Of course, yeah.
But let's say they say on February 1st, there's going to be a price increase of the MSRP across the board for all Toyotas, ranging from $300 to $500 in MSRP. And we will guarantee that for February and March. April 1st, we'll take another look at where we're at and see what our cost structures are, and quite possibly we'll need to be making another MSRP adjustment at that time. As the accounting gentleman said, typically there were 1 or 2 price increases in any given model year. I wouldn't be surprised if we see 4, 5, or 6 price increases depending on the cost of raw materials throughout the year.
Be like Mark and start saving hundreds of dollars on your maintenance and repairs, or like Rich, who saved thousands annually on his insurance. Simply join YAA Plus, the only membership that saves you money on all things auto. Head to joinyaa.com/plans and use the code YouTube to save 20%.
2 comments to bring up. One is, on that point, Tesla has already done this. I mean, Elon Musk's electric car company frequently, over the past 18 months, raised MSRPs. We actually, I forget where it is, but it's somewhere on our website. We have an article where Justin on our team tracked the price increases on all the different Tesla models, and it was significant. I mean, tens of thousands of dollars in price increases on Teslas, and it just happened kind of on a whim. Like, it just would happen. And I think it's naive to think that other automakers wouldn't follow in that path. And we've seen over the chip shortage and the pandemic, we've seen automakers start to do it. And the other comment, Dad, is that the fact that Toyota is not the only automaker coming out and allocating huge amounts of money as provisions for losses that they've incurred, whether it be for quality control issues, I'm thinking Kia, Hyundai, and also Ford, but also supply chain challenges. Ford came out and said it was going to cost them $1 billion in additional revenues or additional monies to cover the increased supply chain costs that they have. And this is also while Ford and I'm thinking GM too talk about how great their inventory levels are and they're building back up. You really do have kind of like two very different stories happening. And I got to be honest, I trust Toyota more than anyone. I really do. They've been more, I think, forthright talking about the challenges they've had during the pandemic than any other automaker. They weathered it really well initially. And I think they're showing that there are some drawn-out complications as a result of the semiconductor shortage and just the supply chain issues in general. And they talked about it in the Automotive News article, Dad. There's thousands of chips in a vehicle. And it could be one chip that's holding up a vehicle from getting off the production line. And that's what's unfortunately happening to Toyota.
Yes, and you know, unfortunately, as their costs rise, the consumers' costs are going to rise. It's just that simple. I mean, manufacturers always pass on their increase in costs to the consumers because every one of these manufacturers is a profit-making organization. The truth of the matter is inflation is a global phenomenon and not just limited to the United States or to England or to Europe. It's affecting every economy wherever you are. And in some parts of the world, in most parts of the world, it's actually worse there than it is here in the United States. But just if we're paying more, everybody else across the globe is paying more, which means everybody's prices are going to go up.